Hi.
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. Hello,
Thank
hello.
you for spending your Friday afternoon with us. I'm Rosie Rojales, and I'm the creative director and co-founder for Hurray Design. I have the privilege to introduce our two speakers for this afternoon. Interior designer Jen Alfaro is licensed interior designer, graduated from University of Santo Tomas, and has been practicing since 2014. She has been with Hurray Design for 3 years and has successfully turned over projects for premium condominiums and residential spaces. She is also a mom to her adorable 9-month-old daughter. For our second speaker, I'm actually very excited that finally we had the chance to do this webinar with her, and I'm proud to say that I'm one of her happy clients. Issa Reyes is the founder and owner of Neat Obsessions, a graduate in BS Psychology, and is a Konmari consultant in training and IAPO certified professional organizer. Thank you, Issa and Jen, for sharing your knowledge with us this afternoon.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for that introduction, Miss Rosie. Hi. And thank you for joining
Hi.
us this afternoon. We're glad that you could make it today virtually. No, so we hope that we can see everyone's faces, but that's okay. You can actually use the chat box if you want to say hello or send us emojis so we can see you guys react. So I
Yes.
know that you are all very excited, no, for this topic. Tama, no, Isa? How about
Super.
home building?
I'm actually very excited
Diba? So
to
give
hear
your
you, Jen.
reactions. Yeah, me too. I'm actually excited more to hear from you, Isa. So actually, we're going to talk about home building tips. So we will discuss about aspects of home building and how do we really come into play in homemaking. There's also why is there a need to be neat and how to organize your home. Also to develop a mindset involving yourself in homemaking. And of course, we won't forget the Hurray Design tips. So you better watch out for that. So, but before we begin, no, we'll first introduce ourselves. So let me start, Isa. I'm
Go ahead.
Genevieve Arceo, as Miss Rosie mentioned. I'm one of the design leads of Hooray, and I'm a new mom, and I just gave birth to a beautiful baby girl 9 months ago, and I have been married for a year pa lang. So that's why I guess that they chose me to be one of the speakers today for this topic about home building because I myself just started a family of my own and currently talagang ngayon, as of the moment, experiencing home building now. And I've been working for 7 years already, and I've been with Hooray for 3 years now. So for those of you, for those of our viewers who may not know us, let me just give you a little bit of a background. So Hooray Interior Design is actually our mother brand company that was launched 2018. But under it is our two design-oriented brands, which is, I think, mas kilala siya ng everyone, which we established back in 2009. So it's more than a decade already. So which some of you are more familiar with Heim Interiors. So it's also our vision to give our clients, our homemakers, and even entrepreneurs their dream space in such a way na it's fun, it's collaborative, and of course, our mantra, which is design made happy and hooray. So how about you, Isa? Can you introduce yourself? Can you tell us more about how Neat Obsession started?
Sure. So, before becoming a professional home organizer, I am first and foremost a mom of three kids, very young kids, all below 9 years old. So you can just imagine the chaos now that we're doing online learning. It's crazy, um, but yeah, I started Beat Obsessions 2.5 years ago because I love sharing what I do here at home, and I also had the privilege to meet Marie Kondo herself. That's why that's the time that I took the Konmari consultancy training, and so basically, for those of you who doesn't know me yet, Yes, there is such a thing. There is a professional home organizer now. Simply put, I help people organize and fix their clutter at home and let them know that there is hope. Right, Jen? So yeah,
Yeah.
so basically
I need
I
that. I need that.
so basically this is what I do. So I help out the client fix their homes if it's disorganized or if they want to come up with a system that is more efficient for them. I had the privilege actually before the lockdown to do projects such as this, which is, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but the photo on the left is actually Cheska Kramer's homeschool, as in literal na homeschool classroom sa bahay. And the one on the right is Danica Soto, and both of them are homeschool. They're homeschooling their kids. So before, as actually acknowledging them and telling them na, grabe, hindi ko yata kayang gawin yung ginagawa nyo. And then look at me now, doing online
Right.
learning with my kids. But very privileged because at least I get to experience their process and how they actually prepared for their kids for
Mhm.
their homeschooling, and it's something that I was able to apply here at home as well. So it's not just me who's actually teaching my clients, but also the clients teaching me something as well. And
Teaching you. Yeah.
yes, and most of the time, like, to introduce you to what we do, no, I always work with a team. I have a team who help me sort and arrange things. So ganito yung usual process namin, no. But of course, there are clients such as Cheska who's very much involved. And that is actually the mindset that we would like to teach you today, that um, we will help you understand and participate and take ownership and become an effective homemaker. So, yeah. So, question muna. Go,
Yeah.
Jen.
So actually, in our previous webinar, kasi if you were able to watch the first webinar we did, we had a poll question about their major pain point in their house. Na it was too cluttered daw and it's not tidy. So, ikaw ba, Isa, do you live in a house or a condo?
I live in a house, but before getting married,
Mhm.
sorry, when we got married, we lived initially in a condo and then we moved pa to Hong Kong, so in a much smaller condo pa. So parang na-practice ko talaga kung paano mag-organize ng iba't ibang
So
klaseng
you've
bagay.
experienced both na.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Ako naman, I live in a townhouse, actually. Well, it's a house, pero it's more like parang ganun din eh, joined na parang condo and home din siya kasi it's really tiny, no? Pero let's see our viewers kung ano yung, it's more likely more of them are living in a house. No? You see that?
You can
They're
answer
answering. They're
this
still
poll, yeah.
answering. Yeah, it's
They
more,
are?
yeah.
I wanna see. Oh,
Yes.
wow. A lot
So
are
actually, that's
living
why
in
we thought of this topic
houses.
eh. Kasi yeah, in their house. Kasi actually ECQ ngayon, so they wanted to really learn from you and from us also
And also
how to
you.
organize.
Correct.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so actually, mas madami talaga yung house. Yeah. So whether you live in a house or a condo, actually, we all want to have our dream space naman to come into life. So by that being said, we can be of help. So, how do we really help our clients through our services? So actually, we in Hurray, before we start with the project, we always have our brainstorming sessions with our clients. So in our brainstorming, it's actually the fun times in our design processes. We get to know the clients on a personal level, empathize with their lifestyle and how they want to go about with the life change experience through design. So we also immerse ourselves through our brainstorming through casual talks. Actually, it's more of kwentuhan lang naman, the brainstorming. But we do also workshops wherein we do sketches with the clients, of course, picking out materials. And sometimes talaga, we actually visit their own house, or if they're moving from a house to condo or vice versa, we actually make sure to visit their house first para we immerse ourselves and experience it firsthand. So we get to know the clients na it's actually not na 2 to 3 hours lang. It's more than that, 8 hours or more, or even we work with them not in one sitting lang. So especially for those projects na we know that we will work with them 1 to 2 years pa because of their house, building their house. So actually, some clients pa nga would say na it's harder to answer our questionnaire than a visa form. So ganun siya, talagang mapapaisip sila about the questions, no? Kasi they are really have to think about not just their lifestyle, no, but to be able to identify where they are at the moment, but also thinking about where they are headed next. So, things like how long will I stay in there? How long will I stay in my house? Oh, diba? So it's really thinking ahead to plan on. So because some clients don't know what they need, so we are here to tell them what they need. So also, diba, we experience different clients, but with different life stages also. So for example, we have pre-family. So pre-family, yun yung mga young adults na wala pa talagang anak, 'di ba? So we also have dependent. So these are the families. I think nandito tayo, Isa, no? The families with young children. So nandito tayo sa life stage ngayon na someone is dependent on us. Pwede ding hindi kids, pwedeng you have your parents at home, so they're dependent on you. And they're also like families na you're in a unit na you have 12 years older na. And we also have empty nest na these are adults na matanda na yung anak nila. They have nag-move out na sa house. So silang dalawa na lang yung nandun. And of course, the mature stage, which in adults beginning to think about their own elderly needs. So elderly years. So this is the most na vacation home na may isip nila doon na lang yung retirement home nila, 'di ba? So actually, guys, you have to really think which life stage are you in right now, 'di ba? So you can message that on chat so we can interact. So usually this time around we come with the design strategies that we can incorporate into the design for those life stages so that what they need and how they can prepare to transition to the next stage. Kasi sometimes hindi talaga nila alam or hindi nila naiisip yun eh. Yeah. So you may ask naman, where do Hurray and Neat Obsessions cross paths along the process? Diba? So you would ask, where do we meet ba? So this one is a sample of the questions in our questionnaire. So we also ask na what's the purpose of this area or what's your storage requirements? Kasi we really have clients na they collect bags, they collect shoes, or they even have books, di ba? And also, they have kids na so much toys talaga na nagpa-pile up na. So definitely, we want to design wherein they can be organized in a system that works for them when they move in. So actually, that's our touch point with Neat Obsessions, right, Isa?
Yes. Actually, yun yung that's what
Yeah, so how, yeah.
That's what I envisioned talaga when I started Neat Obsessions. Parang I wanted to have like an industry talaga for home where people can go there and learn a lot about homemaking, about building a home, how to design a home. Kasi as of now, medyo that industry is parang medyo kanya-kanya pa eh. But now that we see each other as, parang something that can work together talaga and help out a client from start to finish, up to the moving in, up to how they're going to arrange their things. And I'm glad that it's happening. I'm really excited that this is happening, and this is that we are also able to identify that. So similar to what you do, like how I process it with my client. Kasi sometimes ang nangyayari
Yeah,
nga
how
is,
do
di ba,
you brainstorm?
usually like pag nag-move in si clients, sometimes naiiwan na sila talaga to do it on their own, and they're at a loss like how they're going to fix their stuff, how they're going to put a system in place, and that is what I do. So basically, every time I go into a project, into a client's house, I strip off my knowledge about organizing, and it's never a cookie cutter approach. Similar to you, 'di ba? Parang iba-iba yung personality, iba-iba yung lifestyle. So whatever design na parang feeling mo okay sa'yo, pagdating mo sa client, once you do the interview, they think differently. And that's what I
It's
try to
different.
do.
Yeah.
Yes, I try to immerse myself and really think na parang, okay, if I'm living in this house, how do I work around the space? But apart from really figuring out what the space and what the potential is in terms of storage or in terms of how we're going to fix the items, it's really important that I should know the client, because there are instances wherein of course magkaiba kami ng lifestyle, no? So if ever I'm going to be too technical in applying what I know about organizing, it might not be fitting for them. So it's important that, similar to you, I sit down with the client, I talk to them, ask them questions, what their lifestyle is. Not naman to pry, no? Baka sabihin na sobrang chismosa ko naman. So, but really just to understand and coming up with a
Yeah.
system that will work for them more than it working for me. So that's the most important thing. So having this kind of process with a client is actually what I love about my profession and why I started Neat Obsessions. As mentioned, I love sharing what I do here at home. I find happiness in homemaking, and that is what I really want to share with everyone. And hindi mo ba na-realize na Jen, diba, na parang all of us were working so hard and all of our efforts napupunta sa bahay. Parang, 'di ba? Doon talaga parang
Right.
at the end of the day, no matter how we celebrate outside, no matter how we build relationships with friends, parang at the end of the day, bulk or parang most of our earnings and kung ano talaga yung gusto nating gawin sa bahay na pupunta. That's why it's important to me na parang maintindihan ng bawat isa that all of us should actually embrace this lifestyle. That everybody is a homemaker. That everybody in us should know how to...
Actually, this is a...
Go ahead, Jen.
Yeah. Actually, there's a saying, diba? Parang home is where the heart is. Diba? It's really, parang wherever you are, you'll always have that deepest affection for your home. So talagang, it's not really the temporary, it's really the one inside the home that you're making. So it's really important.
Yes. And yun minsan yung nawawala kasi we get too dependent ba? Na parang automatic, parang pag nasa isang bahay tayo, sa isang tao lang natin ina-assign yung pagiging homemaker. And most of the time, it's the mom. And when I started Neat Obsessions,
Yes,
parang,
si nanay.
yes. And surprisingly, parang ako, I actually grew up not thinking na parang it's just my mom, because it's actually my dad who forced talaga, who forced us talaga to learn about cleaning and organizing and taking care of the home. And when I started Neat Obsessions, I thought I was just tapping a certain market, which is the motherhood market. Kasi I'm a mom, so parang feeling ko the help that I can offer is basically just for moms. Not realizing na parang when I get inquiries niya, hala siya, parang dumadami na yung inquiries of single professionals. Sometimes there are even teenagers asking for help. They want to fix their rooms. And that's a good realization from my end, no? Na parang, okay, So
Mm-hmm.
anybody could be a homemaker, or anyone should be a homemaker, right? So now I have this
Right, right.
question right
Actually,
here.
yeah,
Yes, John, you want to say something before I go to the poll?
it's a yeah. Well, it's actually a a personal experience also na I really got into interior design talaga because of my mom. You know,
Mm-hmm.
homemaking. So she's a housewife. So talagang I really never thought that there's a course of interior design. And I just said na I want to be like her, arranging, decorating. But the most surprisingly is my dad supports her. Like he buys pa talaga the decors also. So yeah, everyone can be a part of homemaking.
Right. I love
So
how
there's
active
no a
our
poll.
audience is,
You have
Jen.
your poll,
Look
no,
at,
Isa?
I know.
Yeah.
Look how active our audience is. Grabe, may mga answers na sila. And hello to my fellow plantitas. Yes, let's raise the bar high.
Yes.
to to those who love plants, yes, hello. I can see you.
Plants. Uso yan ngayon, di ba? Yes. Of course,
Correct.
there's food.
Yeah.
Kasi syempre important naman talaga yung food. We all buy food.
And I love that there
Ako,
is
ikaw
talagang
Isa, ako home decor talaga.
ako, I want to. I mean, I tried arranging things here at home, but I mean, my husband appreciates it. So I don't know lang if an interior designer would appreciate what I
Really?
do at home. Because I'm not an
No.
interior
No.
designer.
Kasi for me,
Harangan ko na lang.
yeah, for me kasi home decors talaga. Well, syempre, it's I love what I'm doing, no. But you know, my husband always says na ang gastos pala magkaroon ng asawa na interior designer kasi hindi ko talaga pwedeng ma-skip yung home section sa mall. So, it's really nice na your husband supports you that way.
Yeah, kasi parang
Ayan,
when we
pero
got this,
we have our
yeah, when we got this house, my
yeah, go
husband
ahead.
talaga parang he's so trusting talaga na, o sige, do your thing, tingnan natin if it if it will work. But thankfully, I mean, I don't din naman parang I try as much as possible na when I choose the decor that will go into the house,
Mm.
it's really parang went through a whole process of thinking through. Kasi unang-una, my
Yeah.
consideration talaga whenever I buy decor is I make sure na mapupunasan ko yan. I make sure na malilinis ko siya.
Mhm.
So, I don't want like complicated designs na parang, hirap linisin. So, yun talaga yung first question ko
Na
in
hindi
mind.
natural sa'yo, no? Na maglilinis na gano'n.
Parang madali bang linisin tong gamit na to?
Yeah,
Pag yes ang sagot, sige, go, i-decor
correct.
natin sa bahay yan. So, yeah.
Mm.
So I'm happy to see your answers. Like, of
Okay.
course, most of them yung sagot. And then I love how
Of
people
course,
also
food. Yes.
prioritize home decor. And yes, hi to my fellow plantitas out
But
there.
yeah, yeah. Well, hello, here si Kel Chan. So, parang he buys food a lot, no? Pero a small pantry. So, we'll discuss that later. So, you
Yes.
stay tuned. What else?
Okay.
There.
So,
Okay. Great that you guys engaging.
for that poll question, isa lang yung ibig sabihin nun. You are a homemaker. So, basically, most of those,
Yeah.
I mean, the answer that you gave us, whether it's food, it's plants, it's home decor, basically it
Mm.
means that you care for yourself, of course, with food, but
Yeah.
you also care for the home because most
Mm-hmm.
probably, I mean, especially with those with family, no, I mean, that's one of the consideration. What food are we going to eat? Tapos, di ba, meal planning pa lang nakakaloka na maging
Yeah.
homemaker talaga. But
Correct.
but I am here now, and what I'm going to share with you is one aspect of homemaking, and that is
Mm-hmm.
organizing and coming up with a system that works with you. So, shall we start, Jen?
Let's get into it. Yes,
Let's
we're
do it.
excited.
Okay. So this is what I'm going to share with you, and how I am going to help you this afternoon address whatever clutter you are having right now. I've enumerated here the types of clutter that we encounter. And of course, number one on the list is the physical clutter that we have at home. And I mean, by the word itself, physical. So those are your things lying around the house. So yan yon. And then of course, we have digital clutter. Ano ba yung digital clutter? Nako, photos, email, screenshots na sinesend sa mga Viber groups. Yan yung nakaka-clutter talaga sa telepono natin ngayon, sa mga laptop natin. So, and apart from digital clutter, we also have mental clutter. What is mental clutter? All our thoughts, lahat ng naiisip natin, lahat ng mga
Oh my gosh.
And diba? Like for our work, school ng mga bata. So that's your mental
Overthinking,
clutter.
no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we also have emotional clutter. And emotional clutter is our feelings that we are not able to manage. Diyan ang gagaling ang mga hugot natin sa buhay, sa emotional clutter. And I just added spiritual, because spiritual clutter for me is that for everything else, that for all of these clutter that we encounter, physical, digital, mental, and especially emotional, sometimes na guguluhan din yung spiritual aspect natin, which I also equate that, I also equate that to being one of the clutter that we encounter. And what I'm going to share with you this afternoon is a technique that I created, which is actually part of the book that I wrote, hopefully that I get to launch very, very soon. The technique that I created is actually suited for most Pinoys. Why is that? Kasi I noticed that even if I am a Konmari consultant, I realized how sentimental talaga Pinoys are. Iba talaga the way we process things, like when buying or having yung relationships, ibang-iba talaga sa ibang culture. And the technique that I created is somehow will make it more objective and efficient. I call it the homeward technique. Why? Because it's like you coming home to your home. And I enumerated the clutter because some people here might be organized already, but with this technique, for whatever clutter that you have right now, you can actually apply it there too. So, hindi lang siya pang physical clutter, hindi lang siya pang digital, pwede rin siya sa mental and emotional. So, hopefully, this is something that you can apply in your lives and see things more objectively. Okay? So, let's start. So, the homeward technique. So, in the homeward technique, will you be surprised if I tell you that there's only 3 steps when you organize? 3 lang. So, madali lang i-follow to.
Really?
Yes, there's just 3 steps. Okay, so this homeward technique, I created this in a manner na parang why, answering the question of why are we as professional organizers able to fix other people's houses? Bakit kami successful? Like we go into a house, give us what? 1 day, 2 days, and it's fixed. Tapos na. Okay? So this is the homeward technique. This is what we do in Neat Obsessions. Okay? So the first step is sorting. So the reason why I want sorting as the first step is because it doesn't entail so much emotions to it. You know, like us, we go to a client's house and we just sort the items as to how we see it. So that is how you're going to do sorting. The expectation is it's physically and mentally draining. Definitely. Nakakapagod. Masakit sa likod, masakit sa balakang. But you have to be really prepared. That's why if you are not a professional and if you are not ready for it, when you sort an area muna. So what is an area? It could be a drawer. It could be a cabinet. It doesn't have to be an entire room right away. It doesn't have to be the entire house agad-agad. Kasi like, if I get inquiries and they say, Isa, I need you to organize my house. I think we need to focus on one area first. We cannot do the entire house in one day. No, so the process
Day.
there is let me know which is the most important area of the house, and that's what we're going to fix first. And why do I don't want you to be overwhelmed is because if nilabas mo yan ng sabay-sabay, then the more that you will not feel accomplished. Okay? So how do you do sorting? You sort how your eyes see it. So wala munang kwento, wala munang ito yung sinuot ko nung prom namin, tapos sinukat mo pa, tapos tapos
Ito yung
ano
gift
pa,
sa akin ng...
tapos ano pa yung to, nasukat mo na, ay hindi kasya pag pumayat ako, isusuot ko ito. So ang dami-daming kwento na nangyayari just by sewing, no? But to us, why are we successful in doing it is because when we go to a client's house, we don't know kung ano yung history ng gamit na yon. We can't say if that is a shirt that she wore during her I don't know, UPCAT exams, 'di ba? Hindi walang ganung story. So how you're going to sort it is just like very very Pinoy. So we're going to play our native game, songka. So you just have to put like items together and make sure that you create categories. And then in that category, at the end of sorting, you will have a visual inventory of the items that you own. That is the most important thing. Because in Konmari, of course, there are people who's very ready for Konmari, because in the Konmari way, the first step is decluttering. And the shock value in Marie Kondo is the pile. I don't know if all of you have watched the Netflix show, but you will see there that they do things by category, and then Marie Kondo will ask you to take out all of the clothes and put it in a pile, and that is the shock value, no? The shock value of making you realize how much clothes do you own, diba? In my case naman,
You own,
in my case naman, I want it sorted out first so that when you go to the next step, it's easier for you na to do it. Okay? So, again, when you do sorting, make sure that you prepare an area big enough for you to sort the items. If you don't have a big area, boxes will be very helpful. Make sure that when you sort, the categories are very specific. Okay? If it says kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, that's fine. Those are general categories. So it means that if you sorted something that belongs to the kitchen, then you bring it to the kitchen, right? But I have one client. I am doing consultancy now, and one of the categories that she gave me was parang we fixed her office and nakalagay doon kids materials, documents, and then there's one category that says personal. And I told her, everything that you are sorting is actually personal. So for items that you cannot categorize, if you put it in the personal category, then you will end up with another pile of clutter that you need to sort again. So you really have to be very specific.
Categorize,
Like if it's a shirt, it's a shirt. If it's pants, it's pants. Undergarments. So ganun mo siya ika-categorize. Now, so and then you have to embrace the mess. Kasi
so Issa, wait, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so giving the embrace the mess. So is it na lahat ng, let's say in the closet, no, most of it, lahat ng gamit nila is they have to put it in a wide area, one area na wide enough. So lahat doon ipapile up. Is it correct?
Yes. So you have to figure out an area first where you can put all the items. If you can sort it neatly, then perfect, para hindi na masyadong madaming trabaho. Hindi yung pag nag-sort ka ng closet, parang itatapon mo siya ng itatapon. So mas maganda kung halimbawa nagsusort ka and you really want things organized, if you can remove all, if let's say all shirts na are there, then just put it there para lang at least magkaroon ka ng visual inventory afterwards. Because what I want you to have is an empty space where it's like a blank canvas. It's easier to imagine the space if there's not much going on in that particular space. Okay? Why am I saying embrace the mess? Don't embrace naman too much na parang 3 months na hindi mo na inayos, sinort mo na lang talaga. So, what I mean by embrace the mess is that if you commit yourself to doing it today, then I think the best commitment that you can give yourself when you start organizing is that you will finish it. Okay? That's why I don't want it to be overwhelmed. So kung pwedeng isang cabinet lang muna, isang cabinet lang muna yung gawin natin. So don't overwhelm yourself, but at the same time know that it being messy is part of the process. Okay? So we move on to the next. So now that you've sorted out your items, nakita nyo na ang dami mo palang pantalon, ang dami mo palang t-shirt, ang dami palang ballpen, tsaka stapler. Diba? Parang dalawa lang kayo sa bahay, yung stapler nyo, 10. So, we go to the next step. And the next step is, I call detaching. So, in detaching, it's emotionally draining because this is where decluttering and owning back your things happen. Okay? So, to detach is to separate your emotions from your material possessions by asking an objective question, do I really need this in my life? More than the, of course, maganda rin if you're going to ask, does this spark joy? But sometimes, mahirap kasing sagutin yung does this spark joy if ang kaharap mo is pots and pans, kutsara tinidor, diba? So, asking an objective question of do I really need this in my life? For example, you sorted out the kitchen. And then nakita mo na parang you have set of 6, set of 12, set of 24 plates. Okay? And you're living in a condo. While you love entertaining, baka when you sort it out, and nakita mo na parang ang dami mo palang set ng plates, why not just keep the set of 24? So that it can also cover the set of 6 and the set of 12. Right? So, when you have a visual inventory of the things that you own, the more that it's easier for you to do process of elimination. Okay? But in detaching, I have 2 categories, which is the owning and re-owning. The owning is you understand that the item does not support the life that you want, and this is decluttering. And re-owning is you rediscover that the purpose of the item actually supports the happiness and the life that you want. Because why do I think that sorting is more suitable for Pinoys as the first step? Is because we are very regretful people. You know? Do you agree with me, Jen? Pinoys have so many regrets and hugot.
Yes.
So, diba? So, I don't want you to be mechanical on the process of decluttering and then later on regret, ba't ko nga ba tinapon? Right? So, parang at least when you sort and you see that you have so much of an item, then the realization is easier than actually asking yourself one by one if this is something important, if this is something that I need, if this is something that I want. Because when you see it at a glance, when you see everything na parang ang dami-dami ko palang ganito, mas madaling out na natin yung kalahati. 2 lang yung nasusuot ko dyan eh. 'Di ba? So, nababawasan and mas nagiging efficient. That's why, Jen, when we do projects, this second step, we actually don't do. We only do sorting and the last step that I will be discussing in a bit. Because detaching is really very personal. So most of the time, since we do sorting, when I go home, Normally, I will receive a text after 2 days and they will say, you know what, Issa, I was able to empty an entire cabinet because I realized I really don't need everything in it. So, diba, at least walang regression na parang if I'm going to ask them, hey, do you really need this? I don't think you need this anymore. I am not that person who will dictate and tell them that they don't need those things. Asawa nga nila, hindi nila mapatapon yun.
Yes.
Ako pa ba?
It's for them
Right?
to realize talaga, no? Correct.
Yes. And
For them to realize talaga on their own na.
yes, because one of the reasons why I think organizing is important is that one, it helps you to have that what do you call this? That feeling that you really own the items that you have. Kasi sometimes yun yung nawawala. We get to buy something just because it will make me happy. But nasa stop siya kapag nabili na yung item. After mabili yung item, pagdating sa bahay, ayan na, isang beses lang nagamit, or nilapag ko lang dito, nawala kinabukasan. So parang hindi nata-translate yung entire happiness from the actual buying to really owning it. Okay? So, in organizing, if you exactly know where that particular item will go in your life, will go in your house, saan mo nga ba siya ilalagay, then you establish the ownership there. Because isn't that when you love someone or when you love someone, you take care of it. You make sure that it will, that person will
the
feel
value,
important.
no?
Yes. Same to your things.
Correct.
'Di ba? Ilang beses na akong naka-encounter ng project that once after we sort out the items, biglang andyan yung, ba't nga ba ako bumili pa nito? Meron pa pala ako noon. Ang tagal ko na tong hinahanap, hindi ko nakikita, nandyan lang pala. Right? And for me, more with the owning, it being important to know alin nga ba yung mag-stay, 'di ba? Kung alin nga ba yung mga ile-let go mo. It's also important that you also have that process of really earning back and owning back the things that you own. Okay? Because in this process, you understand what you need. And that is so important. I don't like it na parang you're too mechanical na parang, 'di ba? Halfway through the process of decluttering, you say, ayoko na, pagod na ako, tapon ko na lang lahat, magiging minimalist na lang ako. 'Di ba? And then after a month, nakikita mo yung sarili mo, ayan, nagsha-shopping ka ng mga pinagtatapon mo na gamit. Sayang lang. So,
bumibili ulit. Yes.
I mean, it should really be an entire process where there is an understanding and acceptance that this is my lifestyle. When I say acceptance, it means that if you are a collector or if you really love shopping, then by all means shop. But make sure that you are not compromised, that you still have a space to move around. So identifying the space where items will go is actually not just caring for the things, but caring for yourself. Because if hindi mo gagawin yun, dyan nangyayari na nagte-take over yung clutter, na instead of you being in control of the clutter controls you. And that goes for your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions, right? So, if you accept that you can actually control things around you, then it's easier, it's manageable, right? At the end of the day, everything is manageable.
Correct.
Are we good? Okay. So, how
and there are
we
also people, no, Issa? Issa?
Yes?
Actually, what about those people na they are really not bothered about the mess? Kasi merong ganong tao na, okay lang, dyan lang siya. What about those people?
Another reason why I believe that organizing and cleaning is important, that it is actually part of homemaking, is because of what you mentioned, health and hygiene. Can you imagine how it's now taking center stage? Diba?
Correct.
that you are actually a hand wash away from the virus. So, 'di ba, parang you just need to wash your hands so
Mhm.
that you will not get the virus. And that is to me the importance of cleaning. It's not just it being Instagrammable or sobrang arte kasi sobrang linis. But I mean, at the end of the day, as long as it will not compromise your health and your hygiene, then it's fine. I have a project where there's this they're a couple, and they love drinking coffee in the morning,
Mhm.
and they have a coffee station, but the cleaning aspect
Mhm.
of the area is not really prioritized. That when we went there, there were a lot of insect droppings na. That you can identify which is coffee and the droppings. So,
Mhm.
'di ba? And it's not really to judge them, because maybe they don't understand yet that there should be like a schedule that they have to incorporate, they have to clean, because nga they get used
Mhm.
and complain. They embrace the mess, diba? That's what I'm telling you. Don't embrace it too much. So,
Yeah.
so for that, now that they realize the importance, then they will now understand the importance of self. So for me, I really don't advocate on just
Mhm.
minimalism and being organized. It's not just that. The advocacy that I have is actually respect for oneself. So make sure that you are not
Mhm.
compromised, then
Mhm.
you're fine. So kumbaga parang for me, bakit ba ako naglalagay ng mga containers? So that pag naglinis ako, angat ko yung container, punasan ko, ibaba ko, tapos na, instead of removing it one by one. So as long as I can still make sure that I am able to clean the area so that my kids will not be compromised, because my kids are asthmatic, so the dust is kalaban ko talaga yan. So, 'di ba? So those things that you have to consider,
Mhm.
and it all boils down to knowing yourself, understanding what you really need, and understanding what you want, and how you're going to function um how you're going to function inside your space. Okay? And then the last part is
Mhm.
rehoming, which actually um, malaking tulong din, no? Like if you have an interior designer with you when rehoming stuff, because in rehoming, um, yes, it's again physically draining because this is the portion where we put back all the things in place, but definitely it's emotionally fulfilling,
Mhm.
because this is where you get to identify and understand
Correct.
na, oh, ito lang pala yung capacity ng closet ko. So dahil hindi kasha and important tong mga gamit
Mhm.
na to sa akin, shall I create another storage for it? Should I need to buy a
Mhm.
furniture for it? Kasi yun yung nawawala minsan when we're buying it. Like
Mhm.
my husband and I, we only have two questions in mind whenever we buy something for at home. I mean, for the home. It is, do I have money for it? And do I have a space for it? Usually number one pa lang wala na kaming sagot. So,
Mhm.
so those are two important questions that I really need to answer. Because if I don't have an answer to number two, which is do I have a space for it, then ang ending niyan, clutter siya sa bahay. Okay?
Clutter. Mhm.
So, if
Yes.
naman, 'di ba, bago yung lifestyle, syempre dumadami yung anak, dumadami yung laruan, dumadami yung ganito. Then, apart from just buying the item, I have to make sure, teka lang, dapat may paglalagyan to. If wala siyang paglalagyan, gawan ko muna ng paglalagyan. And then I will buy the
No.
item.
Before you
Okay?
buy it.
Because
Yes.
yes, because
Mhm.
definitely it will end up as a clutter if I don't. So for example, um,
Mhm.
I recently, before I put all our cleaning materials under the stairs, kasi merong area under our stairs where pwede akong mag-store ng mga kung ano-anong items doon. But I realized na parang, teka lang, as we live in this house, parang nagkakaroon din ng requirement for tools like mga extra bulbs, that's my husband's naman, items na kailangan niya dito sa bahay. So I have to make room for that. So what I did is I converted that area for our tool, para mga all our tools dito sa bahay. And then I had my cleaning cabinet made. So nagpa-customize ako ng cleaning cabinet para lahat ng panglinis nandun lang. Kasi I don't want it naman to mix. So things like that, no? Parang I try to consider how we move around the house and at the same time how we're going to function well without being irritated by ano ba yan, ba't nakakalat? Eh kasi walang paglagyan. Okay? So it's important that you understand the space that you're living in. Okay? Now, in rehoming, di ba na-sort mo na yung items na yon. Then, you can now create subcategories from the general categories that you have. For example, you see this photo here and on the left where bags dyan. So, everything, we sorted out all bags together and you notice that we subcategorize it by all leather bags have a category and all native ones have categories and then the luggages. Similar to the shoes also, when we sorted it out, so all wedges go together, and then sneakers, and so on and so forth. So that is how you subcategorize. And definitely live by this mantra, a place for everything and everything in its place. Again, why? Because I don't think your mga documents and your bags, can sleep comfortably on your bed and then ikaw wala ka ng mahigaan kasi puro gamit mo sa kama mo, 'di ba? So again, you think of yourself, make sure that you more than anybody else or more than anything, it's you that you give importance to. Okay? And welcome home. That is the homework technique. So if you follow those 3 steps, in sorting, you know what you have. No? You know, you see it. You have a mental and visual inventory of the things that you own. And in detaching, you understand what you need. And in rehoming, you accept what is left.
Wow.
Hooray!
So that was great, Issa. So yay! So actually, now that we heard practical tips from Issa, the need to organize and the application through the homework technique, I will also give simple design tips in correlation naman with that from a designer's perspective naman. So, okay, let's get into it. Our first Hurray Design tip is, of course, form follows function. So actually, this is a popular design philosophy, Isa, and a great tip actually. In interior design, of course, function is very important consideration because, of course, you may put everything together, but if it doesn't have a purpose, it won't add value. And that's why, as we've been mentioning before, that during our planning process, we really involve our clients. So after all, they'll be the one naman to live in their house and see it all the time. So for this tip, let's dive deeper with this and let's use a kitchen as an example. For everyone, we have different types of kitchen, diba? So every one of us have a different cooking style, a different activities inside the kitchen. Some of it wants enclosed yung kitchen nila. And then some naman, they want an open kitchen where they can see the dining area across while they're entertaining, diba? So, and some of the clients of us, minsan, they're really a professional chef or a professional baker. And some also have their showroom kitchen lang. Pero talagang sa dirty kitchen kumikilos or nagluluto, diba? So, for our viewers, you assess yourself or your kitchen rather, diba? Do you have more pots, diba? Isipin mo, do I have more cutleries? Yung sinasabi ni Issa na, do I have more plates? Or do I really need an accessible herb garden next to my kitchen? Or ito, famous, I have kids who snacks all the time, diba? So, sila yung papasok-pasok sa kitchen. So, this is actually where parang sorting comes into play. So, you really have to identify first what items you have and what you need, like this kitchen. So, I will, this is actually a a kitchen that we designed for a client that was carefully planned and executed in a way that the user of that space is part of the kitchen design. So it involves how they move or what items do they need and where is it located, ganyan. So this is a axonometric view of the kitchen. So a place for everything. Yung kakasabi lang ni Isa, a place for everything and everything in its place, di ba? So first is we have a coffee drawer wherein maybe si husband is more into coffees. So meron talaga siyang specific station next to the coffee maker. You have your coffee drawer there. And then next to the baking tools, next to the oven are the baking tools, the baking equipment, of course, the baking pans. And next to the stove naman is the spice rack. Who wouldn't want a spice rack next to their stove, diba? And also for the overhead cabinets naman, you can place your dry goods and extra for groceries. And then next to your prep table, of course, you can have your stove. I mean, you next have your cooking utensils. So it's really easy. And cutlery drawer near the prep area. So after you cook, you prepare na the dining set. And then, of course, ito yung usual na madumi or tinatago natin are the cleaning agents below the sink. So
I love this layout, Jen.
this one is yes, this is actually a really nice layout. But every layout has it will be designed according to your needs and how you move your activities. So as much as possible, these are the actual photos of that kitchen in real life. So as you can see, there's the coffee drawer, and as much as possible, we want to use drawers to maximize the cabinet space inside, and usually, diba, divided na sila. So when you have an open cabinet, and then dun mo na lang lalagay-lagay kung ano-ano yung tinatambak mo dun. So, it's good to have drawers. Next, we have pantry, diba? So, on the left side, it's actually a project we did for Heart for her pantry. So she loves to, we all know she loves to entertain and have guests over. So she also used this space to store her collection of dinnerwares. So actually, for having a pantry, you have to take note that the durability of designing the pantry is very important, diba? Like using the thickness talaga of the board kasi iba-iba yung iso-store mo dun eh. So also as you can see, there's a ladder for easy access. Yes. So actually for the ladder, it's easy access to reach things kasi you wanted na floor to ceiling yung cabinets mo, but in reality after hindi mo naman na ma-access yung taas because you don't have a ladder. 'Di ba? So hindi na magiging purposeful yung space kung hindi mo na siya ginagamit and na-maximize. So if there's no way of access, tatamarin ka na talagang gamitin it, no? So, and now you would say, paano naman ako? I'm living in a condo. I have a small space, di ba? Where should I put all my dry goods? So this is why you plan ahead. So you know your current activities. Like, isa dito is how you often do the groceries. Is it every week? Is it every month? How often do you stock your groceries, no? So what we suggest in our clients living in a condo is to have tall units such as this one on the farther end, or even a buffet cabinet would do to store dry goods, diba? So that's one tip again. And next tip is use a modular storage system. So actually, when we say modular, it's a part of a system that can be easily constructed and flexible in arrangement. So it's usually prefabricated off-site, and then arrange mo na lang siya on-site. So i-install mo na lang siya. It's easily can be installed. But there's a difference with the traditional, of course, plywood carpentry na traditional talaga versus the storage system itself that works. If you want a value for money, this is a perfect time when you want to suddenly change the function of a room. So here's an example of a flexible system, that you can mix and match, wherein you parang you have a modular na to put in. So if ever you're changing a room to another type of space, it's easier to remove and reconfigure, diba? And here is another project that we had, a walk-in closet with modular cabinets we did for a client who obviously have many accessories to consider. Diba? To all our women viewers, we want this kind of walk-in closet. So also another project we have is this is how we do it, no, with our cabinet suppliers, wherein we sit down with our client and of course the supplier, and we brainstorm with the configuration of their walk-in closet. And a technical drawing shows that it has a designated space for bags, for a watch winder, of course, with adjustable shelves. Again, for flexibility and for the island dresser where they can store different accessories like belts or sunglasses or neckties and so forth. So an open shelf also where you can, store your outfits that you planned a week ahead. So dito usually yung sinasabi natin kaninang mahirap mag-detach. But as Issa said kanina, you don't it's really a personal thing for you to do that process, no? So next tip is think about lighting. So actually when you design a room, if hindi talaga naisip yung lighting, it can be spoiled with improper lighting. So make sure to factor in that when you design. That's why we're here to help you factor in that. And then it's not again for just decor. Of course, it serves more than that, but there's also functions in lighting. You have general, you have ambient lighting, and of course, there's accent lighting. So different functions of lighting. So here we have a project with Heart again for her walk-in closet that with the help of lighting, it highlights the collection of shoes she has and a pick-out dress for an event. Plus, diba, it's Instagrammable if you have a good lighting. And then bookshelves also can be lighted, where you can mix and match books with figurines and even plants. So lighting it up can also be your ambient lighting in the room. And on the right side is a project that we did for our for a wine room of a client that highlights his collections of wines. Kasi diba in their brainstorming, we get to know our clients. So sa start pa lang, we learned that to consider the client's wish list. So it helps us to plan and allocate what's important to the client. And here naman on the left side, it's a display cabinet, also in the kitchen dining area that highlights the collection of teacups. So if ever you have really a fund of collecting something, you have to really have a space or storage prepared for that, like Isa mentioned earlier, diba? And then this is a walk-in closet in particular. In that way, it's easy to get yung kita mo. And actually, this one, Isa, it's sorted na by color. Diba?
Yes.
In this walk-in closet. There. So actually, in that way, it's easy to get what you want. That's function, diba? The function of the lighting. And then, so of course,
Sorry,
Isa,
Jen,
some of the viewers, no?
Jen, can I
Yes.
point this out lang? Kasi usually this is
Yeah.
what I tell the clients, no. So if you see the design here, sakto yung mga sapatos, no. This is what I mean by maximizing your space. Wala kang sinasayang, as we call it, the airspace. Kasi most of the time, like parang if you don't really consider this, if it's not part of your process where you measure the height of the heels and hindi mo nako-consider yon, then chances are yung mga possible na areas where you can still store the items, nasasayang. And then ang ending, nasa labas na lahat ng closet mo yung sapatos. But this is very well
Correct.
thought of. You can see that it's fully maximized and pinag-isipan talaga.
Right. Kasi it's valuable for the client. So we might as well, we take value of that and we have a special place prepared for it, 'di ba? So, ikaw, Isa, can you tell our viewers, kasi some of them are asking talaga, how do I start? How do I categorize my closet? Closet talaga usually. So, can you share with us or our viewers?
What I can share here is this one. So if you notice, this is actually how you maximize the space. Then considering also aesthetic, no. So if you notice on the left side where there's a cabinet for the kids, I arranged it by color. So most of the time I follow the rainbow color, no, para lang mas easy on the eyes. Like when you open the closet, it's not as cluttered. And using baskets also as makeshift containers and drawers, and you can file fold the clothes so that you can maximize the space, and at the same time it's easier to maintain. But again, if you consider that in your design, then probably having an actual drawer is best than actually buying these baskets. Kasi kung if especially for those people um, who are still considering the design, they're in the planning stage, then um, then chances are mas mapaplano niya ng maayos. And this is what I meant by airspace. You see the photos where there are shoes. We used risers there, and can you imagine buying all these risers just to make the shoe fit? So parang all of the shoe collections fit. But if you refer to the previous photo of Jen, you see there na wala talagang nasayang na space. But then again, yeah, there are ways naman. There are items available in the market that we can make use of so that we can fully maximize the space. But I tell you, if you have the luxury to really plan it out, then make sure that you consider everything that you own and the lifestyle that you have. You have to be honest when you answer the questions of interior. Parang ano lang yan eh, parang pag nagpapa-check up ka sa doktor, diba? Parang you tend to hide some of the information where in fact you're not being honest with yourself. Diba? I mean, professionals are there to really help you address whatever concern that you have. So if you're going to hide those details,
Correct.
then it will diba? There is an effect when we execute the actual let's say when we move in your things, and when we start na the construction. So nasasayang yung opportunity where we can fully maximize that sana. Okay? So yeah. If ever you want to learn about how to fold,
So,
you can actually go to my YouTube channel, and there are tutorials there on how to do file folding of your undergarments and your shirts. So
and
yeah, you can
maximize,
visit
no?
Yes. And then here are, well, for me, the effects of, I cannot just say maybe organizing, but also design. I think it's very obvious as I say it kanina pa that the respect for personal space. At the end of the day, what matters the most is that you are not you're not compromised. Hindi ikaw yung nagsasuffer. So that is what truly is important. The reason why you want to organize is you don't want to overthink anymore. 'Di ba? Parang ang hirap na uwi tayo sa bahay, tapos parang may iniiwasan ka na isang part ng bahay mo, and most of the time that's your storage area, and you don't wanna go there because iinit lang yung ulo ko, sasakit lang yung ulo ko dyan sa area na yan. And again, just by the mere thought of it, there's already a mental clutter going on in your head just by thinking about it, where in fact you can actually control it. 'Di ba? Gamit lang yan eh. Kayang-kaya mo yang kontrolin. You can actually do something about it. And another effect of organizing is being mindful of the things that you own, taking ownership, and of course, as Marie Kondo put it, you can practice gratitude Tayo kasi mga Pinoy, ang lakas natin gumawa ng meme. 'Di ba? Parang
Correct.
when Marie Kondo said, you have to think everything that you own. Parang, hala, bakit tayo magpa-thank you sa mga gamit? But you know what, guys? The reason why Marie Kondo put it that way is because she just wants you to practice gratitude. And make it easy for you to think something about something in your life, because yun yung nawawala sa atin ngayon eh. That we don't get to be grateful on the little blessings. That's why
Yeah.
sometimes ang laki-laki na nung blessing na dumadating, hindi pa rin natin siya ma-acknowledge. But make it easy for you to thank the things that are happening. Like now, I mean, before this, when this pandemic happened, actually, I nag-overthink din ako. I felt anxious as a mom, 'di ba? Na parang, why does this have to happen in our lifetime, in my kids' lifetime? Parang bakit kailangan siya mangyari? Nung lumalaki naman ako, wala namang ganitong pandemic. Bakit ganon? Why? And instead of actually dealing with that in that way, I actually
Mindset.
realized na parang buti na lang din pala nangyari to while my kids are still young and I am still here. At least I can protect them. At least I can still see their disposition, making sure that they're happy each and every day. And what I'm grateful the most is, I tell this to my kids, you know what, I never experienced my family being this complete for so long. Like, we only get to be complete during weekends. Diba? But now you have us 24/7. Magkakapalit-palit
An
tayo ng mukha.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure this is something that they will remember, diba? When they grow up, they will remember that once in their life, they had us for 5 months and counting. So yeah, that's what I'm grateful for. And it creates harmonious relationship. Why? Ito na yung tip ko sa inyo kung bakit kailangan ng a place for everything and everything in its place. When you are living with somebody in the house, diba? Especially mga kasambahay, sometimes we expect na, bakit ba hindi niya alam kung saan itatago to? Bakit ba binigay ko to sa kanya nung isang araw, hindi naman niya nalagay sa kung saan dapat ilagay? It's because, I say to you, you really have to be involved. I think that's what we're trying to make you realize in this entire webinar, is that you really have to be involved, because one, in design, this is your home. So ayaw mo naman na style ni Jen yung makikita mo dun sa bahay mo. It should be your style, right? So and
should be personalized talaga.
Yes. And when you say create harmonious relationship, is that when you identify certain things in the house, and there is really a specific area for things, then maiiwasan nyo talaga yung nawawalang gamit. 'Di ba? How many times na ba na nangyari na palabas ka na ng bahay, biglang, ay, nasan nga ba yung susi ko? Nasan yung wallet ko? Nasan yung... Kaya yung husband
time
ko,
wasted na.
Ever since we got married, meron talaga siyang nire-recite before lumabas. Cellphone, susi, wallet. Cellphone, susi, wallet. So parang kailangan sama-sama si cellphone, si susi, at saka si wallet. So now, if you can identify those areas in your house, then even if magpapasok ka ng ibang tao, they will understand the system. They will understand that all office items go to the office, all kitchen go to the kitchen. Ang nangyayari kasi sa atin, kapag nag-shopping tayo, tinatago natin sa mga kasambahay natin. So lahat papunta sa kwarto, sa likod ng cabinet. So,
correct.
diba? So hindi na natin re-home. Hindi na natin nalalagay sa dapat ilagay. Tapos, and I always sense this, like when I go to clients' houses, parang they want to keep everything in their room because ayaw nila na mapakilaman ng ibang tao. Ayaw nila, but they're living in their house.
Yeah.
Diba? So, like for me, for example, I always say this whenever I do talks, I actually clean my maid's room. Pag halimbawa, feeling ko parang, feeling
Really?
ko nawawala na sila. I do. You know why? Because that's part of my house.
Yeah.
And if I want
It's your
them,
house. Yeah. It's your
yeah, it's
home.
my house. And I want to make sure, not naman to really go into, alam mo, maki-organize ako ng gamit nila. Hindi naman. But the point is, if I want certain ways on how
Mm-hmm.
things clean, 'di ba? Kailangan meron akong i-impose sa kanila and kailangan makita nila yun. And that's what they're going to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is
It's
my
actually
house. I implement a
it's actually
system. Here,
parang discipline din eh. Diba?
yes. But that is
Yeah.
also to acknowledge sometimes that I understand that minsan wala na kayong panahon na mag-ayos ng room. So, let me show you how it's done. Para ito yung ifa-follow ninyo. Because
Mm-hmm.
I have to make sure na pag pumasok ako sa room na yan, dahil parte pa rin yan ng bahay ko, masaya pa rin ako. 'Di ba? So,
Yeah.
and that's what I do. Like in the kitchen, if I see na parang nawawala na ng orientation, I make sure na, o sige, magho-homework technique ako. Ilabas ko yan, isosort ko, ibabalik ko, tatanggalin ko yung expired. 'Di ba? The expiration sometimes is actually a good realization also na, bakit na kasi ako bumibili ng 10 delata, hindi naman nauubos sa isang buwan. 'Di ba?
Madami.
Yes.
And money
So
wasted
somehow,
na.
yes, and you get to be economical about it, 'di ba? And parang mas napaplano mo ng maayos on how you do your pantry. And also, at the same time, ito lang yung kasya sa pantry ko eh. So why do I overbuy? That's why actually medyo malungkot ako dito sa lockdown na to kasi parang forced ka to hoard food, 'di ba? Lalo na nung nag-uumpisa pa, nung wala masyadong access to groceries and all. And I'm so super thankful na parang, ay, nauubos na ang mga ayuda. Nauubos na yung mga hinord namin the past few months. And you know, parang, o sige, okay lang. I have to, you know, I have to prepare, but at the same time, ensure na, o sige, kasya pa siya and hindi mako-compromise na, alam mo yan, parang nagmukha na kaming bodega dito sa bahay. But it comes with understanding your space.
Right.
So
It's planning ahead then. Yeah. And
that's
actually,
what create a harmonious
yeah,
relationship.
correct.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So actually, it's really relating to this effects of organizing. Not really in interior design perspective din naman. We studied psychology. So, 'di ba, in a cluttered home, it can really seriously affect your health. You know, ako
Mm-hmm.
personally, in my experience, I have this home office. It can cause anxiety and impair my sleep. Kasi naka-clutter lang yung home office siya, pero there's kung ano-ano, stroller ng ni Kayla, and
Mm-hmm.
then the
Mm-hmm.
Tupperwares and everything, parang naging bodega na siya. But I'm sitting there working from home. Parang it really affected me in a way na I had anxiety problems na, and it reduced my focus. It limited my ability to really process information. So it actually, being neat will cleanse your mind. Well, not just your space, but where you feel lighter and have more room to breathe, diba? The one you mentioned, to avoid also overthinking. That's what happened talaga to me, and that
Mm-hmm.
brought my anxiety. So it's really, really important for them to know that. So okay, so actually we actually have many viewers who learned a lot talaga. So
Yeah, I'm
let's
reading through the
have this
chat.
slide, Isa, that everyone,
Yes.
yeah, diba?
So the point of this
So
whole
everyone is
webinar
a homemaker.
is making you realize that
Yes,
everyone indeed is a homemaker. I mean, whoever you are, whoever we are talking to
correct.
here, all, how many of you? 100 something of you.
All
168
of us.
attendees. Ang dami. Oh my God, all of us. You are indeed a homemaker. And that is something that you have to embrace. You know, you don't want to see yourself na
Mm-hmm.
if wala na yung homemaker, you're lost. Parang you don't know how to change a light bulb. You don't know that there should be a towel rack in your bathroom. 'Di ba? Parang those small details that will help your life easier. No? And know that you have people like us who can actually assist you and help you understand more about
Help.
homemaking.
Yes.
Yes. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and make things happen for you.
Right. Yeah, so that's it. Hooray! Really learned many things, something new, diba? So in
Yeah.
this webinar. So we have since we don't have much time,
Mm-hmm.
maybe we can answer one or two questions that listed here. So I can read it na lang, Isa. So
Mm-hmm.
from Reg Nakpil,
Mm-hmm.
how do you deal with paper clutter naman? Paper.
Um, for paper, well, it's actually an entire new, parang entirely, um, ano ba,
Different
webinar
ano
for
na talaga.
papers. But no. But for papers,
Oh,
similar to what I
madami
said, you
talaga
have
tayong
to,
papers.
yeah, you have to sort it also, and
If you really need it, sort
yeah,
it
and
pa
you have
rin.
to come up with you have to come up with different filing system for specific documents. Like for example, here at home I have accordion folders. The folder where it has dividers. I have those types of folder for each member of the family, and then we also have for conjugal, just so it's easier to store, and when you need, let's say, to
Yeah,
apply
to
for work
find
or
it
apply
also.
visa, diba? It's
Yeah,
easy. Um,
correct.
Normally, depends on what your business is. Like, if you need the receipts for tax purposes, then definitely keep, but identify it per
Mm-hmm.
merchant na para it's easier to sort through if you need na for filing. But normally, since hindi naman kasama yung mga, 'di ba, like when you buy mga clothes, so yung mga receipt na yon, usually keep it for 30 days or 7 days, depende kung kailan yung return, and then after that, you throw it na. For billing, I suggest you
Throw
subscribe
it away
to
na.
online billing para no physical clutter ka na, and then
Paperless.
you get to keep track of
Yeah.
all of your billings via email. And what else, I'll try to make a vlog about it, about paper clutter, so that we can discuss more about it,
Yan,
and how to deal
ayan.
with that.
Right. Correct. Okay, so I hope you all had fun in this webinar. I know I am. I got to this was fun. So you can get in touch with our team in Hooray through different social media platforms flashed in your screens. Also, there are pop-ups, right now. We have our website where you can schedule also a scoping or just even message us directly on Instagram. And we'd love to hear from you. How about you, Isa?
um Most of the time, you can reach me via Instagram. But you can also visit my website,
Mm-hmm.
www.neatobsessions.com. And yeah, I try to reply as much as possible in everyone in Instagram. So mas madali if you contact me there. And
Yeah.
also,
All right.
I would
And
like
then
to,
for
sorry, Jen,
you, yes.
I
Mhm.
would like to take this opportunity also to
Go
promote
ahead.
na that my book is hopefully coming out very very soon. I
Yes.
will announce that in my
Mhm.
Instagram, but I hope you can grab a copy, and yeah, exciting times.
Yay! So for those viewers, we'll share a downloadable certificate of participation here in Demio. So you can download that right after. And also we have handouts naman that you can download also. And the most exciting part of all is we also have an upcoming webinar next week with Nest Plants, and wow, they have an exclusive first dibs to sign up. So we'll share the registration link later on our Instagram account also, and there's also a pop-up right now. So sa mga plantitos and plantitas, that's a really exciting webinar for you to register now. So that's it. Do you have anything to add, Isa?
No more. I just hope everybody who's here enjoyed our session this afternoon. And I hope to see
Yes.
you again soon if we have another thing like this. I really enjoyed. Thank you so much, Jen. I learned a lot. And thank you, Hooray, for inviting me. I had a great time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.